What's up, everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Welcome to your daily 10 a.m. video. Today, silver had a pretty dramatic sell-off, a pretty dramatic fall. I mean, look at this, $26.25, and then this huge correction all the way down to $25.95. Now, why is this happening? What should you do? We're going to talk about that in today's video. Make sure you like this video and comment down below what you think silver is going to do over the next couple months. I mean, this is a very interesting time. There's a lot of different things happening week by week, and it's all going to affect the price of silver. So over the next month or so, I'd love to hear your opinion. I'm also doing a 46K giveaway. The entry video is currently open, so make sure you go enter that giveaway for a chance to win some free silver. So it will be in the description if you want to enter. So silver price daily forecast. Silver moves lower at the start of the week. Now why? Well, I'm sure you can guess. I mean, the dollar index is a little bit higher, which you know if you watch any of my videos, the dollar index has a direct correlation to gold and silver. When the dollar index is higher, gold and silver moves lower. But we know that that's not going to last. Currently, it's down right now, so take this as an opportunity to buy silver for cheaper. Now, we do have a couple of different articles we're going to be talking about, though. We're not just going to be looking at why the price is low. There's a really good article that came out today from sbma.org. It's a really good article. It shows a lot about the dollar index and silver, and I think it's going to give a lot of context to what's happening today. So right now, gold managed to get below the support at $1,800 level, and if gold settles below $1,800, it will head towards the $1,775 level, which would be bearish for silver and other precious metals. So we know that silver moves with gold. It hasn't really taken on a life of its own yet, but I do believe there will be a time, which I talked about in an earlier video this week or last week, that silver will take on a life of its own, and regardless if gold is moving down or up or sideways, silver will keep rising. So anyways, let's look at this. Let's look at this article. So there is still metal left in the precious metals. So just as gold rebounded over the $200 an ounce from late March lows to trade in the $1,900 an ounce territory during early June, and market chatter turned bullish again, there was a significant Federal Reserve-driven reversal as the yellow metal plunged back into the 1700s range in the days immediately after the June FOMC economic projections were released. Now, the FOMC, the announcements, which is actually coming up, I think, next week, is also going to affect prices dramatically. So even if it's down right now, we know that the FOMC announcing interest rates and everything with Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell could push things back up, or it could keep it low. If you want to know, if you want to have that daily inside scoop, make sure you're subscribed because I'm definitely going to cover it. So the market delivered a sobering reminder to investors and analysts that the path to new highs is almost never a smooth one, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. We don't want silver to just go up to $40 overnight, because if that happened, that would be extremely overbought territory. There would be a huge correction, and it would stay low for a while. We need it to build some stability, price stability. Go up to $32, then down to $29, then up to $35 or $36, then down to $32, and then maybe $37, and then down to $33, and then $40, and down to $37. You see what I'm saying? It goes up and down. Now, this also is interesting because we've already had a lot of price stability. So if it drops any lower, I don't know what would happen. It could either go really bad or really good, especially for the next couple of weeks, what the events are doing and how that could affect the price of silver. In the medium to long term, though, we know this stuff is irrelevant. A similar object lesson in market realities was also given to silver, platinum, and palladium investors. So even if you're buying right now, whether you're buying at $25.95 or $26.25, it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. The only reason you should be worried about the price right now is if you're selling, and I hope nobody is looking to sell anytime soon anyways. So at the same time, various mine site disruptions and other constraints will continue to limit supply growth, and investment and industrial demand remain firm. And we know there's a direct correlation between silver demand and price rising. So if silver demand is high, the price rises. As such, supply side developments will very likely help precious metals complex, particularly the more industrial silver, platinum, and palladium. Industrial metals are also likely to get support from gold's respectable performance. The ongoing post situation in the global economic recovery, the positive sentiment generated by future efforts to decarbonize the global economy. So in Fed and data we trust. So let's jump in here. This is the meat and potatoes. So while positioning is not overly conducive to another sharp rally anytime soon following the post-June FOMC sell-off, very low nominal and real yields and a stable USD are serving as stabilizing force of gold, despite the fact that FOMC dot plot shifted hike expectations forward to late 2023, with many traders expecting a much earlier tightening, and that Fed Chairman Jerome Powell has stated or started the process of preparing markets for QE, which is quantitative easing tapering. We believe that yellow metal still is in a position which makes a return to $1,900 range possible into 2022. Now, if we're talking about $1,900, then we have to talk about $2,000. And if we're talking about $2,000, we have to talk about new all-time highs for gold. And if we're talking about new all-time highs for gold, that should be extremely bullish for silver, because gold is silver's big brother. But not only that, if gold pushes silver higher, then silver benefits where gold doesn't, then we can see that separation of prices. Notwithstanding the massive U.S. stimulus and the recent run-up in prices, the negative impact of this situation variance on growth around the world as the Fed's recent hawkish tilts are raising doubts that inflation is about to get out of control. Indeed, base effects, recent non-energy commodity price reversals, limited long-term crude oil upside, and the pending end to this situation of the supply chain disruptions in the global logistics and the microchip industry should all start to convince markets that price increases should not get unwieldy. And consequently, the Fed is unlikely to be behind the curve anytime soon and force tightening much earlier. So considering recent price action, it seems that precious metals traders are starting to agree with the conclusion as we do. And with U.S. central banks projecting 2% core PCE inflation in 2022 and 2.1% in 2023, and considering that the U.S. economy will need to create some 380,000 jobs per month for the next 2 years to reach full employment, there seems to be plenty of time to keep the zero-bound policy alive, and before any inflation target overshoots a forced tightening. So it's just saying that the money printing isn't going to stop anytime soon. We still have a lot of recovering to do, and that is just bullish for precious metals. So far, treasury markets don't seem to be worried about the out-of-control price increases. Even if there is a period to above expectation prices, we suspect that Mr. Powell and friends would intervene in the treasury market should rise, or the treasury yields should rise to the point that they would erode financial conditions and threaten the Fed's ability to deliver on its full employment mandate. This is all likely means and real rates remain at the lows along with longer of the curve too, which is gold accretive. And that just kind of puts the nail in the coffin. And Federal Chairman Jerome Powell is very open and honest, even more so than his colleagues, because there was an article posted from the FOMC, and then he posted a statement afterwards, kind of expressing like, hold your horses, like it's there's still a lot of work to do, ladies and gentlemen. And I like that he said that, because it kind of gave people false hope, and it pushed the price of silver down pretty low. But then after he said that, it put people's mind at ease. So notwithstanding the likelihood inflation will migrate lower from current highs, uber easy monetary policy being practiced by the Fed and other central banks, along with trillions added to the fiscal stimulus at a time a recovery is underway, should still elevate long-term inflation expectations above what we have seen in the last few years, and with nominal rates anchored by the very low Fed fund rates. The resulting real rate environment should keep investment and industrial demand firm for a while yet. And if demand is high, then we should expect higher prices. If you've ever seen a chart of silver demand versus prices, they go up together. So while an inflation problem should not develop given the FOMC's recent signaling that it will not sacrifice long-term price stability at the altar of full employment, there will be those who may see the world is less benign terms. They will worry about record public debt, purchasing power erosion, and the other potential catastrophes. And for all these reasons, the yellow metal has a good chance to again move into the $1,900 an ounce territory for the part of 2022-2023. And I even think it's a little more bullish than that. I see by 2023, silver could easily be $50. If we want to talk about $50 silver in 2011, it took 3 years from the 2008 $9 silver credit financial crisis, $1 billion stimulus, right? All of that led to $50 silver 3 years later. It was $9 in 2008 to $50 in 2011, 3 years later. Nowadays, we had $11 silver in March 2020, so similar, very, very, very low prices, and then it goes up within 3 years. But now we have $1 trillion stimulus, and a situation, a global situation. So if that took 3 years and led silver to $50, then I think it could be less than 3 years this time and more than $50 just because of how much more extreme things are. If you want to talk about crazy silver prices, we're living in crazy times. So in addition to all the macro and monetary policy ducks having to be lined up in a row, there will need to be an impact or an improvement to physical demand in China, India, for our optimistic view to play out. And yes, China, I actually just made a video yesterday talking about how people are still mad at China, how silver pandas are actually not very hot right now. I guess the profitable aspect of pandas aren't as great as they were a couple of years ago because people just aren't sitting well with China right now. I don't think that's going to be very long-lived, but it is true right now. Easy money for prolonged period of mana for gold. You can see the gold price, the real gold price, silver price, and the real silver price. So it's looking like they both are very close, but you can see from 2011, look at this, and look at 2021. 2011, $50 silver, 2021. So interesting to see how these figures are so close, but it looks like gold does have the bigger gap right now, meaning that back in 2011, silver was closer to gold's price than it is right now. But remember, silver can still take on a life of its own. So anyways, silver has game. Silver tends to do well when there's favorable environment for gold, considering that the white metal has a historical volatility roughly double that of gold. And given that it is directly synchronized, it should outperform gold into 2022. So remember, they just said that silver should outperform gold in 2022, but they're also talking about $2,000 gold in 2022. So that should show a lot of insight. So indeed, this is exactly what happened in a dramatic way since June 2020, as the gold to silver ratio fell by roughly half from the bad days of March 2020, where silver was $11, to just 68 currently. 125 to 1 March 2020. Now it's only 68. That's a big drop off. Given our most robust outlook and considering silver supply demand fundamentals over the next few years, history tells us silver still has plenty of relative value to recapture. So TD Securities expect investors to favor silver for the same reasons as they do gold, but also desire it for its industrial bona fides. In 2020, investment community in traditional buyers of physical silver purchased some 531 million ounces of the metal, and we project that they will buy another 885 million ounces by the end of 2023. And I think that could be even higher because look at Wall Street Silver, they already have like 140,000 members, and they only started that Reddit forum a couple months ago. So think about in 2-3 years how many people they would have. Hundreds of thousands of new investors, new stackers, all buying silver and holding it. Plus, as the price starts to rise, people naturally turn towards silver as YouTube videos come out, news articles, all that stuff. New investors come from every single corner, and industrial demand is going to be extremely high over the next couple of years. So I definitely could see it more than 885 million ounces. So anyways, in addition to benefiting from the monetary effects and macro drivers like gold does, the white metal's projected to see an additional 115 million ounces in industrial demand over the same period. So like I was saying, silver has a lot of room to grow where gold simply doesn't. Like I always say, there's a reason why my name is Silver Slayer, not Gold Slayer. So silver up over 60% of demand comes from the industrial sector. Silver should benefit from firmer industrial uptake as the global economy continues to recover after the situation has inspired deep global recession last year. The increase in demand should accelerate in the second half again as the microchip shortage, which moderated auto and other industrial production and other logistical issues, get resolved. Expenditures on green energy infrastructure, decarbonization, and electrification should also help silver rally, as it intensively used in solar panels and electrical circuits. The intensity of silver use in general economy is set to be sharply higher over the next decade. Starting in 2021, green initiatives under the Biden presidency, the European Green Deal, and China's 2060 carbon neutral goal are all initiatives that should increase demand and likely attract investment ahead of pending supply-demand tightening. So, I mean, we only see this looking extremely bullish for silver. Declining mined metal production in 2019 and 2020, a relatively modest recovery this year. It's like 3% growth this year. There's only limited supply growth after that, along with strong investment interest, suggests tighter physical markets and robust silver prices. I mean, look at this. Everything is pointing towards higher silver prices. If you're going to try to sit here and argue with me and say that silver isn't as bullish as I say, or all these people that are calling for $130 silver, or like Ted Butler that said think of extremely high silver price and then double or triple it, then you're crazy, because the information is right in front of us, blatantly obvious. Investors make strategical decisions based off information, and the information is showing us that silver is extremely bullish. It's a ticking time bomb waiting to explode, and if you don't get on board now, you're gonna be kicking yourself in the butt, because I can guarantee you're going to be the one paying $50+ silver instead of $26 silver. And you don't want to miss this opportunity, because I can guarantee 90% of people that invest in silver are going to start investing after it already explodes, paying extremely high prices because they don't trust it right now, because they don't have faith. And we don't need faith. We understand silver's true value. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you want to see the link to this article, the link will be in the description. Make sure you like this video. If you enjoyed it, I think this was a very insightful video. It showed us a lot about the context of what's happening right now, but also moving forwards. I think this is a great opportunity to buy some silver for cheaper. So yeah, let me know what you think about this. Make sure you enter my 46K giveaway. The entry video will be in the description. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.